Welcome, everyone, to Mizpah's Becoming a Father series. This is part 18. I am joined alongside, of course, the father himself, Mizpah. Mizpah, how's it going?
Going all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm
All
doing
right.
okay. So it's been, even though the people haven't been without episodes, except for the Christmas break, we've been going pretty regular, even since we got them going again. It's been a little bit since we've actually filmed one,
Yeah, it has been a little bit.
a couple of weeks. So
We've kind of had some things going on. Life gets in the way.
yeah.
Uh,
But I don't mean just for that, but I mean just for what we're about to talk about.
yeah. So we just had our checkup with the doctor, um, and thought we'd kind of go over that. And it's she's 15 months old now, so it has been a little bit of time. Um, we also had caught COVID recently. So
Yeah,
I thought we'd talk about that.
yeah. And then she had a cold somewhere in there
She's
again
had
as well.
this winter has not been kind.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, the
There's
fact
been
that
a couple of colds and COVID and
yeah, COVID.
teething and uh, lots of teething.
Yeah,
She's
so I mean,
got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teeth now.
wow,
Working on 11, I think.
wow, that's quite a lot. I mean, that's she's getting up there now. And I guess that I mean that can lead me into my first question because when I saw her just recently, she was or you sent me a video, she was feeding herself.
Yeah,
She's feeding herself now.
that's a thing now.
Yeah,
She's just furthering her independence.
yeah,
She doesn't want us to help her at the any form or fashion.
yeah.
Even if she's not able to do it, she doesn't want us to help her do it.
Yeah. It seems like the only time you're getting away from that is when she's tired.
Even then, sometimes she still wants to do it herself.
Well, the other night when I got to see her, she was at least letting the breeze feed her, and I think that was because she was tired.
Yeah.
I mean, she did do like a bite or two herself, but she was, you could tell she was tired and just content with letting mommy help her, which I'm sure is nice. Well, I mean, I don't know how does she feed herself? Is she messy, or is she coordinated enough that it's not a super more is more going in her mouth or all over her?
Well, it depends on what she's eating because she doesn't do too bad with a fork, as long as it's things that she can poke. Um, she's okay with a spoon, but still that's a work in progress. She doesn't quite have the scooping
Yeah,
concept down
keeping
yet.
keeping the spoon in a position to keep the soup in the spoon.
Yeah. And then there's times where she's not really feeling what we've put in front of her to eat. So she more plays with it than eats it. And that those are the times that it ends up, you know, down the front of her, on the floor, all over the tray, in her hair,
Yeah,
everywhere but in her mouth.
yeah,
Um, and then the real fun times are where, so she has learned, uh, she likes to give mom a hard time sometimes. And sometimes I think she does it just because she knows she can. So there's been a couple of times where mom has tried to feed her and tried to get her to eat. And we've gotten to like full blown epic meltdown bully fit. So I come in and I try and I just look at her. I'm like, all right, that's enough. Get her to calm down for a minute. And then she's fine for me. Not all the time. The uh, most recently, she wanted me to feed her with the spoon. Well, then she wanted to feed herself with the spoon. And then when that wasn't working, she wanted me to feed her with the fork. Well, then she wanted to feed herself with the fork. Well, then that wasn't working. Then she tried using her hands, just picking it up with her fingers.
Yeah.
Well, then that wasn't working. But she didn't want me to help her either.
Yeah.
So she kind of went back through trying the fork, trying the spoon, trying her fingers, getting frustrated, having, a little bit of a lack of patience, which I have no idea where that would come from at
No.
all. And then she finally relegated and was like, all right, feed me.
Yeah.
Because
What?
she just got tired of it.
Again, yeah, exactly. She got tired. That's what I'm saying. It seems like when she gets tired, it seems like that's going to be your window to just get her fed. Otherwise, I think it's just going to be like, I think you'll have the, like you were just saying, the successes, and then you'll have those days where she's having trouble and can't do it and still doesn't want your help until she's tired.
So it's just about the time we think we've gotten the pattern and the routine figured out, it changes. Because, she develops new skills or new personality traits, or figures out that she just, can. So she does. Like she's able to walk now without holding on to things. But she's figured out that she can crawl to places faster. So she can walk. She just chooses not to.
Yeah.
And it started out, she'd just taken a step or two and then flopped down, kind of like she didn't realize she was doing it. Then now it's kind of turned more into she'll take a few steps and then it's, I ain't got the time for this. Plop, and off she goes. She puts it in 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
So we've both said that she'll start walking when she realizes how to run.
Yeah.
And then we're in trouble.
Yeah. As soon as she realizes that walking or running is going to be faster than crawling, yeah, she'll be all about it for sure.
So, and now she's developing a little more, she's getting more vocal with us. Like there's more actual interaction there. She's saying a lot more words, and there's acknowledgement there. Now there's, you can tell that she understands what you're saying to her.
Yeah, I think she said no to you guys a couple times the last time you guys were
Oh
over.
yeah, no is her favorite word.
Yeah.
No. Even if she means yes, it's still no.
Yeah.
That's her favorite word. Once she learned how to say that's she makes a song out of it. No.
That's funny.
So,
that's funny.
It's cute and adorable right now.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be very cute and adorable later.
Yeah, when she's 3, still singing it because she's going to be.
But
stomping her feet, singing her no song.
But yeah, she's starting to try to find ways to communicate with us what she wants, other than just being
yeah
and pointing.
Yeah, although she's still a pointer.
She is.
But it's I noticed that she was pointing at some things, but it wasn't like crying and pointing. She was pointing and then trying to, like you said, trying to figure out what she wants to say to get what she wants.
And she's started having conversations with us now. You can't understand what she's saying.
Yeah, of course.
But she thinks you can.
Yeah, of course. I've had plenty of them with my nephew when he was younger.
And I'm waiting for her to reach the point where she gets mad because she realizes we can't understand what she's saying.
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna have to worry about that. I think you're gonna have to worry about when she's talking and then she says, because you're so used to her just babbling, the baby babble.
Yeah.
Now, when she actually starts talking, I think you're going to be like, yeah, mm-hmm. And then she's going to be like, Dad, are you listening to me? And you're going to be like, oh, no, I wasn't. Yeah, of course I was. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
where I think you're going to be in trouble.
I'm sure that's going to happen.
I
Absolutely
mean,
going to
yeah,
happen.
I have no doubt in my mind that she's going to pick up speech pretty quick. I mean, she's going to be bossing you around in no time.
One of the things that I know is going to happen, because we have this thing where like she'll kind of do this little minor, like she's getting grumpy or a little irritable, and she'll just be like, eh. Well, I look at her and go, back. And then sometimes that turns into a thing.
Yeah.
Where she'll make another noise, and then I'll mock that, and then she'll make another noise, and then I'll do that. And then she thinks it's funny right now.
Yeah.
But, when she's older and she's catching attitude with me and I start mocking her,
yeah,
then it's going to be, Mom!
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah, we were actually talking about that earlier today. How it's okay right now, but later it's not going to be so much entertaining.
Well, it still will be for you.
Oh, yeah. I'll find it hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it'll be entertaining for you.
Until she does it back.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking that's going to happen around the age of 2.
Probably. Well, given the rate she's doing, it might happen tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you're going to have to worry about her like mocking you back yet. I think she won't pick that up until she's 2. But like I said, I think you got 1 year tops.
But yeah. So, the conversation is like, now I really do have to start watching my mannerisms. I mean, I've been working very hard on, my dad language.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of fudges and mother truckers and son of a biscuits. And,
yeah, you still got to watch that, man. She goes to school and, calls the teacher a son of a biscuit.
I won't even that teacher conference. I won't even be able to keep a straight face. I'll just be like, yeah, and
I'm sorry, I'm still laughing.
What? Because I almost spit chocolate milk out my nose.
Yeah, partly that, but I was just picturing your daughter saying "son of a biscuit" to a teacher.
Yeah. So, we're pretty sure that she's developed some of her abilities and sass from my mother.
Oh man, I'm crying. I'm crying again.
My mom just recently told me a story about how when she was in elementary school, she had gotten in trouble from the teacher. And the teacher looked right at her and said, I don't want to hear another peep out of you. And my mom, without missing a beat, looked at the teacher and went, peep. And this was in kindergarten. And I have a feeling that's the kind of sass that Sammy's going to have.
Oh, sorry, I'm crying because I was laughing so hard at watching your daughter tell her kindergarten that she's a mother trucker.
Oh, it's going to be great. We're gonna. I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of conferences.
Yeah,
because we're not perfect, and that's okay. But
who cares? That's why I'm laughing, because it's going to be a funny thing if you get the chance to see that happen live. It's going to be hilarious.
Yeah, but with that said, I have been working at trying to be more mindful of my actions.
Yeah, well, because you don't want her. I mean, if she's going to say something, you'd rather it be mother trucker than what the alternative is. You don't want her to be in kindergarten class, standing up and calling her teacher a son of a bee.
And another, but even elaborating on that a little further, like I'm also mindful at how I interact with with Bree, like how we communicate with each other, and the things we do with each other, and how we communicate with our friends. Like even our friends are having to be mindful of how they're acting now, because we're reaching that age where Sammy's just going to become a parrot.
Yeah.
Everything she sees, she's going to mimic.
Yeah.
And everything she sees, she's going to try to do.
Yeah.
And, a couple of our friends, they have, younger kids that are just, a couple of years older than Sammy. And, we've been having to try to explain to them, look, you have to set a good example. You don't want to be teaching her, bad habits, which our friends think are great because now they could use that as an excuse to get their kids to behave.
Yeah.
But there's some truth there. Like, you don't want to show Sammy how to do something because while you can do it, she might get hurt trying.
Yeah.
And that's not. I can't say that was something we ever really thought about.
Yeah, because you're at the stage now where she's starting to speak and understand language, but not clear on necessarily what she can do or can't do, what's right or what's wrong. That's where you're at. Like there's a little bit of an in between here, where she's able to speak but doesn't really have the concept of some of the things that come with speech and
right
understanding speech.
Well, not just speech, but actions. Right
Well,
now,
that's right, but I mean speech, but like actions through speech, though, is what I'm saying. The whole concept of understanding your actions and your speech, but she doesn't understand necessarily right from wrong, or what she can do or what she can't do, what she can say or what she shouldn't say.
Yeah,
like there's this in between period that you're kind of going through now.
Yeah, we're in a transition period.
Yeah. Which I mean, every episode is a transition period.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That's basically going to be the theme of things. So we're now transitioning into this.
Yep.
This is the phase we're in now.
In fact, I'm just going to rename the series. They're not going to be called parts anymore, because when we first started the series, I started with calling them episodes, and then I decided I didn't like that this is kind of an ongoing thing, so I wanted to call them parts. And now we're just going to rename them. The next one will be Mizpah's Becoming a Father series, Transition 19.
It is kind of funny that you bring that up, because that does seem to be the common theme. So, but yeah, like I had said at the beginning of this, we just recently had our checkup with the doctor, and things were great. She is currently 30 inches long and 19 pounds. So she's a little on the thinner side than Dr. But she's still within normal range.
Yeah.
She's just on the low side of normal for weight. But she's petite.
I think most kids go through a period of that, at some point in time.
Yeah, and what I had said was she had just recently gone through a growth spurt. So, she stretched out and hasn't filled that space in yet.
Yeah.
But the doctor wasn't worried about it at all. He said she's doing great and she's developing at the pace that she should be. In some cases, she's developing faster than average. Every time we go to see the doctor, he asks, like, what new words has she said? What kind of actions is she doing? There's a whole big checklist of things that they go through each time.
Yeah.
To see if she's at or meeting, certain like goals.
Yeah.
Milestones.
Yeah.
And they've been very happy with, the progression of things, which, it at first I was mildly annoyed that we had to go to the doctor so often.
Yeah.
But now that I've had time to actually see the purpose of these appointments,
Yeah.
it's kind of nice to know that you're on track and that things are going well.
Yeah.
It's nice to have that professional say, you know what, you're doing a great job. Things are looking good. This is exactly what we should be seeing. In fact, I didn't expect to see that until our next visit, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a little peace of mind there with that. We actually had to postpone the appointment by a couple of weeks because we all caught COVID.
Yeah.
And I was a little more worried about her catching it than I was us having it.
And this episode's banned from YouTube. You said the word. You said it.
But yeah, I was a little more worried about her having it because of her being so little yet.
Yeah, that's who doesn't. That is the thing. That's who doesn't do good with COVID is the elderly and the young.
Yeah,
Like
and
like babies and stuff. Yeah, that's where it is. I know that it's it's a little bit risky there. So yeah, that's not a joke. Yeah, it's not that part's not funny. Okay, like for people who are at risk for it and who can be have life threatening complications with it. That's not funny. That's not a joke. All right. So let's just make sure what we're making fun of.
And then on top of that, my mother actually ended up catching it too. And she has COPD.
Yeah.
So, I was worried about her and, Sammy. Not at that point in time, I really wasn't thinking about me having it or anything, which, I have some issues that put me in a higher risk category as well. But, I didn't even really think about that at all. But luckily, it didn't last too long. It just kind of was like a bad head cold.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have any real severe symptoms. The fever only lasted about 24 hours. And then
good.
after that, it was just, real stuffy,
yeah,
sinus headache.
And you did have it. You tested positive for what was it, like 7 or 8 days or something like that?
Yeah, it was
when you took the second test, right? After you tested positive. Yeah, after you tested positive, you tested again like a week or so later, and you were still positive.
Yeah.
And then when you tested the third time, you were finally not positive anymore, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so it was.
But the third
test, 7 days in between the tests.
Yeah, it was, and then the third test. Yeah, the third test I think you did. It was I think it was right there like 13 or 14 days.
Yeah, it was right around there, which that was more just that was actually more like for work purposes than anything, because I had to show a negative or at least have a negative result, which I was pretty sure it was, because by that point I had already been a few days without any symptoms or any kind of, even I didn't even get like a lingering cough or anything like that this time.
That's good.
So, it really wasn't as bad as it was when I had it the last time.
Let me ask you a question. Just since you've had it, I never actually tested positive, even when I'm pretty sure that I had it. I didn't actually go take a test or something. That was very early in the thing. It was very early when everything was breaking out. Is it you just had COVID now again for the second time, right?
Third
time. So is this? Do you think this is this COVID? Is this really a COVID thing, or is this just like you think this is just like a strain of a flu or a head cold or something? What are your thoughts on that point?
So I could really get into the whole progression of viruses in general. If you look at the history of all viruses, their whole goal is to replicate. And in order to do that, they become more viral but less potent. So each time that strain mutates, that next strain becomes more viral, but it's less severe than the previous strain.
Okay.
So the flu, you can look at different strains of the flu, and
Yeah.
there was a flu outbreak back in 1969, and a lot of the protocols, a lot of the steps that the government had taken, and a lot of actions that were done were very similar to what had happened with COVID. Um, that strain now, it's just another case of the flu.
Yeah.
But back then it was severe because it was new.
Yeah.
People did get severely sick. People did die from it.
Yeah.
Now it's just another strain of the flu, and people get sick and get over it and move on with their life. But it's because of the different variations that have happened over the years that has caused that.
Yeah.
So
Where do you stand on vaccines? Nope, just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. We're not getting into that. Just having having a little goof. Just a little rib for you. No. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure that was a stressful time though when she had it, but you came out of it. You guys are all okay. That's what's important. And your mom's okay too, right?
yeah, we all came out of it. We're all healthy. We're all good. Sammy actually got through it a little bit quicker than everybody.
Good.
She was back to her usual self in 2, 3, maybe 4 days.
Yeah. Well, that's great for not having to worry about it. Terrible for you guys still being sick and her being ready to go.
Yeah, that was a little rough. In fact, it was probably a little more rough on the Breeze, who actually happens to be here with us today.
Okay.
And I was going to let her jump in for a little bit to kind of give her side of things.
Actually, I think what we're going to do, I'm going to call an audible, everybody. And he wasn't aware of this, but we are running at about almost a 30-minute mark. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep filming. But if you're watching this episode right now, you're going to have to wait 2 more weeks to see the Breeze on an episode of Becoming a Father, or a special episode, sub episode of Becoming a Mother series with the Breeze, for 2 weeks for the next episode to come out. So stay tuned for that. Share this episode out. Leave us a comment. We'll talk about it on a future episode.
Yeah,
And
I mean, it will be a very special episode because we all know the Breeze is typically behind the camera.
yeah, oh, is she going to be coming on the camera?
Yeah.
Okay, well then that's something that we can hype also for 2 weeks. So stay tuned. The Breeze, we'll actually get to see the Breeze on camera for the first time. I don't think we've made a mistake with her getting on camera. Accidental. Yeah,
it'll be the first time.
We've let her real name slip a couple of times, but I don't know if anybody's been smart enough to catch it. Probably. So yeah, stay tuned for that. It'll be in 2 weeks. So we're going to end this episode, and then we're going to have the Breeze have her own special episode, and so that's going to be it. Share it out. Marcus Frederiksen does the music. ReverbNation.com/Marcus Frederiksen, and share out your favorite song. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble, the Boiling Point Podcast. Share us out. Hit the subscribe button. Until next time, Mizpah, I am JD. We'll see the Breeze in 2 weeks. That's the end.
Good night.